quick demo on how you can use StudyHall and what StudyHall can do. So on the left-hand side, we have a student. On the right-hand side, we have a helper or volunteer. As you can see, this is the landing page. This is where you come right after you log in. On the left-hand side, we're going to go ahead and go over to the student profile. On the right-hand side, we'll go over to the educator volunteer profile. We're able to see a little bit of different information here. So the student, the only information we store are their username, email, and grade. They're able to change their avatar to whatever they'd like of these options. On the right-hand side, they're able to change their avatar to basically the same options. You can see their username, email, the school and organization they're attached to, the grades that they feel they can support, and the subjects that they feel they can support. We're going to go ahead and go back to that main page and go ahead and get started with the whiteboard. So on the volunteer side, as you can see, I am not available, but I'm going to go ahead and click Become Available. As you can see, it allows me to be available until 3:30 p.m. That's how it's set up right now, so it'll make you available for the next hour. You can always click Become Unavailable. So it should be 3:32. There we go. On the left-hand side, we're going to go ahead and refresh the page. We can see that now that helper is now online. Green bar is up there. That's a beautiful thing to us. And we're going to say that I'm having trouble with a math problem. So it is saying that there's no helpers for the next 72 hours. That is, in fact, not true. But we can go ahead and click Choose a Helper. And we can sort by favorites, username, grade, and subject. So if we go over here, we know that this helper isn't able to do second grade or isn't comfortable doing second grade, so they will not show up. But when you go over to sixth grade, they do. We're going to click Connect. You think you could have heard that little sound. We're able to see that in that queue, we have a student. On the left-hand side, it's letting us know that we're in line for that helper, and they'll be available when they click Connect. But we're quickly going to go over back here, and we're going to add our triangle for the Pythagorean theorem and just draw out a quick math problem where the hypotenuse is x, and we are trying to solve for x, just like so many of us can remember. We'll say that the helper just finished up with another student. They're going to go ahead and go back to the whiteboard. The only time that you can actually click yes and get with a student is when you're on that whiteboard page. So as you can see, we get a nice little notification that says the peer has joined. We're here, we can see the same things. A student can initiate an audio connection. A helper can also initiate that audio connection. So we can both choose browser-based audio. One of us can choose phone audio and another browser. We can both choose phone. Or if one of us is uncomfortable with audio, we don't need to have that audio available. We do have the ability for people to send a message in chat. So how can I help you? We can go ahead and click send, and they can see it. We're going to go ahead and, such an innocent student. I need help finding X. Great, okay, I can help solve for X here. As the volunteer, let's just say I do know that it's the Pythagorean theorem. I may not completely remember what the Pythagorean theorem is, but I can at least get to it. So in the bottom right-hand corner here, we have the glossary. I'm able to type in Pythagorean, thank you for the spell check, and I'm able to look that up and be like, okay, cool, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I have that formula. But the best part is we're trying to teach a student, we're trying to give them an experience where they actually learn. So I can tell the student that, okay, I need you to go look up the Pythagorean theorem. So copy and paste that. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy it on this side, but I can see Pythagorean. Okay, go to the glossary and check out Pythagorean. Look it up. Let's read through what that looks like. We can discuss what it means. Okay, what is a hypotenuse? And we can go through that experience together. One of the things I did forget to mention is that on the left-hand side, the student, this is what it would look like attached to a phone or like an iPad. We have a bar on the bottom here that's just a little different. On the right-hand side, that volunteer, we can see everyone is, all the tools are available. So let's say that we got there, 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. We happen to know that this is 25 is equal to x squared, and we're going to say the student got us this far, and as the student, I'm really not sure what to do, and as the volunteer, I know that I hate red ink. I remember it too well from when I was in high school and middle school, and I'm like, okay, great, so do we know what this symbol looks like? Do we know what that symbol means? Because we can get, so your x is equal to that symbol and 25. We'll say the student doesn't know. Okay, we know that's the square root. We can say 5 is equal to x. And sorry, I screwed that up a little bit there. But we can go ahead and delete that and redraw it real easily. Great, so we have now solved for x. We've helped the student out. Is there anything else I can help with? No, great. We're going to go ahead and click End Session. On the right-hand side, it says End Session. On the left-hand side, it just has the Hang Up button. Great, we're both notified that it was successfully ended. It was ended by the tutor. Sort question, we're able to say, yes, we have to answer a sort question as the volunteer. We're going to type the name in, Pythagorean, if I can spell it correctly, and we'll go with the full theorem. We're just going to use P on the student side. They have an exit survey. It is very similar to the sort question, but we're going to go ahead and click skip. We're going to say the session went well. We do believe that the student actually learned during that experience, and I can put a comment in whether that is something about this is how well the student did on this, or something, whatever is allowed to go in there. We are able to flag it as flag for review, which just lets study hall administrators know that they should take a look. We can flag it as inappropriate, and that will make sure that someone takes a look and figures out what happened, what occurred, how can we make sure that this doesn't happen again. In this case, it would be, what did the student do? Do we need to revoke their access? We're going to say there are no technical issues since I didn't see any, but I'm sure some of you will find some. We can click submit, and we're good to go. As you can see, I also have something called saved whiteboards, but we're going to go ahead and focus on just the student side now. So Wednesday, September 23rd, this is actually a previous demo, but I'm going to go ahead and go in. We can see that I get to see that whiteboard, and I'm going to go ahead and click play. It was also the Pythagorean theorem, and I'm going to fast forward just a little bit so we can see something happening, but we're able to hear, we're able to see what chat messages were there, and in just a second here we're able to see when things pop up on the screen and hear what was happening, so I can always go back to that experience. Say I have another question with the Pythagorean theorem, I can spend the 4 minutes relearning, going through that experience again, and we'll say that I have a different triangle problem. X is in a different spot, and I just really want to do it next to that. So we're able to pull up that end state, and this is where we are now. So we're going to go ahead and take that grid away, and I'm going to add a different triangle. So we're going to say this guy, we'll use orange this time, and we're going to say X is here. And you can imagine what that looks like, going through it next to where we went through it with someone else. The last